Ollie reminded me of a conversation we'd had 6 months before he'd left. The conversation was, of course, for us. We wanted the boys to be aware that we were both organ donors and that if anything ever happened to us, that they were to donate our organs.
It was really fantastic, very moving stories, and I would love to hear more of them.
There was a little voice inside of me that said to write, to keep a journal, and I did. I would cry, laugh, reminisce about Dujon and about our journey and what we were going through.
Storytelling is a good way of making this issue well known to the public and for the public to respond positively to it.
So 6 weeks after signing the consent forms, Rita and Daniel went into hospital. And this is a picture of Daniel waiting for his turn to go into the operating theatre to get his transplant.
As each pair came up, or each person came up, they spoke about their parents and where they came from, and it was great to know who was standing behind them, what their heritage was, and what cultural group they belonged to.
Just after having the new kidney put in, it started to work on the table. So Daniel was doing pretty well.
What makes it successful is that we see the actual people presenting. Yeah, and I think this should really go also on TV because we want to reach as many people as possible.
Dian became the youngest multiple organ donor in India. Our spiritual leader supported us through the most difficult period in our life. He guided us through the entire organ donation process.
The fact that kids are like Dian, so interested. My daughter said, how can I tell you that I want to donate an organ? I think because the kids are our next generation, we should be spreading this message more and more in the schools. Get the kids to start talking, get the kids to go back home. And like I said, there's no stopping us. If the kids believe in it, they'll make sure that their parents believe in it as well.
One miracle is what we want. It's just one miracle. And that day, I realized that it wasn't one miracle that was granted. It was 4 miracles that took place after Dian. Dian couldn't save himself, but he saved 4 other lives.
And the event today very tough event and touch on the heart from our member. Today we bring around 20 Vietnamese women and their family, and some of them ready to donate their organ and tissue.
I had the operation, but my new kidneys didn't wake up for about a week.
I'm already an organ donor, and after hearing the stories of today, I really thank God that I am a donor, and any way that we can help somebody in any capacity, why not? Why not?
My mum and dad and my nieces came to visit, and the 2 years that followed were very difficult. I was in and out of hospital with various complications.
They were telling the story of their lives, and I think the pictures that were up on the screen really just struck a few chords in your heart on how people are out there just looking for hope. And in this medical profession, it's amazing just to see that through donor, through organs, gives somebody else an opportunity to live.
It was really good to come here because these are the people who had just gone through so much. They had so much, what I would say, difficulty of having lost somebody or suffer in some way, and yet they have to come up and actually spoke to people that they don't know, which actually also show that they are having a closure by explaining their grieving and their giving. They're getting that healing feeling that I feel that it will work for everybody because everyone fears that kind of situation.
Time will come, this will end, 'cause my days are blue. Do you know how it feels? So I ask you, remember me.
And I thought today was a very inspiring day. I'm completely new to this subject,
and I found it very informative indeed. It is a very heavy subject, but I think this format with the storytelling is brilliant.
It is a way of awareness, and this is the first time. I wasn't even meant to come today, but I do feel privileged to come today to hear those stories, and it reached out to me. So.
So if we have many events like this and press out to the community, and I agree with different way how to raise awareness about this event.
I think annually it's great, and if it could get out to the wider audiences, that would be fantastic. Because the stories took us very deep, so it wasn't superficial, and you really felt that you were on a journey with the people telling the story.